Guys, we are live. I apologize for the 2-minute delay. I was like, man, my computer is in charge. This thing better turn on. Okay, let's get right into a trade, boys. You ready for this?
Go.
Okay. So 12-team Superflex PPR start 10. Gave Matthew Stafford and Juju. Got Deshaun Watson. And then there's a follow-up question to this.
What's the follow-up? Do I have to say what I like first?
Answer this first, and we'll address it.
Start 10 Superflex. Yeah, you just got a top 5 quarterback for Matthew Stafford and a player that we're not even sure is actually any good anymore in Juju Smith-Schuster. I am a fan of this, but also know you gave up on this year, so that's fine too.
Yeah, this one's tough for me because could have got Watson for Stafford a lot of time during this offseason. At least that would have been a competitive offer. So this is basically like Watson for a 24 first and Stafford. And one thing that's going to be a theme of the show tonight is prices on players are a lot higher now if you go try to trade for them. Go try to trade for players in your league. You know, I want Juju. All right, it's a 23 first.
It's going to cost.
He's never been worth the 23 first. Well, you know what? You're setting your lineup in 4 days and you want Juju. So you're going to pay a first or you're not going to get the trade done. So I think I can see where this is a 11th hour deal to get yourself bailed out of Watson and you get a player that you may be able to even flip for first. So in that regard, I don't hate it. But yeah, I think I would still take Watson. But it just sucks. You could have got him cheaper earlier.
So let's throw this up here. This was Bob. And this was his question. He's like, I made that trade below. And this was his commentary before that. So with the season about to start and Watson starting his suspension, I've seen teams looking to move Watson so they can compete this year. What's the most you'd be willing to give up for Watson?
I mean, that's one of those hypotheticals that I can't answer because it's going to depend upon the league. I mean, what's the least I can give up? Because that's where I'm going to start from, which is going to affect the most.
Two first, but it's not just 2 random 23 first because I think you're giving up a little leverage because you probably have 2 23 firsts for a reason based on your build. But yeah, I'd send a 23 first and a 24 first. I'd send a 23 first and a lesser quarterback. Where it starts to get hairy is like, are you giving up Justin Fields and a 23 first? Then you're sitting there going like, you know what? I should just bet on my side because there's a pretty good shot that week 8 I can get that same deal because I think I'm paying pretty much sticker price. So I think it's probably 2 firsts, but one's got to be a player probably, and it's got to be one like it's not easily worth a first.
Sounds good. Hey, thanks for everybody who's in here so far. We got 62 eyeballs. We'll get some more as we go, I'm sure. What's up, Shane?
Just real quick, there's 62 eyeballs in here, and I happen to be on the YouTube stream too. There's not 62 likes. If we could get 62 likes, feel like if you 62 want to go share on Twitter and or Facebook or the Instagrams or MySpace, whatever, you hook it up.
Or you could be like us where we have like 19 different YouTube logins and we can just, let these shows play from start to finish and whatnot. We don't do that.
No.
Okay.
That's how you got all the subs, Clay. Really?
Dude, that's how, yeah.
Clay
they're
has
all me.
944 YouTube accounts.
Yeah, pretty much. Okay. So let's hide that one. Thank you, Bob, for the questions. Okay. I'm going to go to you guys here real quick So Scott and Shane have been total savages burning through some roster reviews here over the past few days. I mean, just machines. Like, look at Shane. Like, how is he even alive right now? No, so I wanted to ask you guys though. So first off, we've been receiving awesome feedback from them. And I'd like to thank Scott and Shane for crushing these apparently. But what are some things that you guys are noticing as you're going through these reviews? Any key takeaways? You're seeing a lot of this and you're recommending a lot of that. Go ahead.
I was going to say the one thing that's important is flexibility, right? Because as much as we want to think we know what lane our roster's in, we don't. A lot of times you look up and all of a sudden you're like, oh, I have Jalen Hurts and Justin Herbert at quarterback, but that's all I have. Like literally there's nothing else of value on this roster. So I have no choice. I'm in a situation where I have to trade these players away. But flexibility in how you construct your team as far as ages too, right? You don't want a bunch of guys that are all aging out at the same time. You don't want a bunch of 27-year-old, 26-year-old running backs and 30-year-old wide receivers, because you're drawing dead there in most leagues. You're leaving yourself no outs. But you also, by the same token, don't want 15 rookie wide receivers and then 8 old guys, because, you need that in between. You need those second year, third year guys that are still sending assets. So that's one of the things I've noticed, is you definitely have to make sure that there's flexibility in your roster. And I feel like I've said this before, but not on this show. It's okay to get creative. And that's what, like, going through these roster reviews is forcing us to do. So just get creative with how you want to make moves. One thing that we've brought up a couple different times we've seen is Russell Wilson. Can I trade Russ Wilson for Justin Fields plus? Just trades like that, where you kind of thinking outside of the box is the best way to think.
Yeah, and I think it's actually a really cool service, because Shane and I are in alignment with a lot of the same topics, but we also look at things slightly differently. Shane is definitely more of the creative trader, where I'm the one that I get the roster and I'm immediately hyper focused on
the settings,
the scoring, the settings,
yeah.
the roster sizes, and I'm breaking it down from like a surgical standpoint, going like, I always comment on, you got too many roster clogger receivers. Like, that's one of the pet peeves. But we've also noticed we've gotten some teams, and it's like, man, they're following the process. They have 90% of their bench is running backs. It's like, so they're getting that from somewhere. That doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen by accident. But I'm usually one going like, all right, if this person says they want to try to contend, I'm already kind of looking at just getting in the right construction, because again, I'm looking at it from a huge portfolio of teams where I can't necessarily, my strength isn't saying this player is better than that player. This player is going to outperform that player. It's looking for correlation. It's looking for roster construction. Shane then comes in and goes, yeah, that's great that you slotted, Darnell Mooney and Brandon Cooks into those flexes, but you might be able to do this 2-for-2 trade over here where you actually get better players. And I'm like, yeah, I didn't really think about that. But if you pivot off one player for a lesser valued player at the same position, and then you get an upgrade somewhere else, Shane's usually thinking of that, going, yeah, like, I don't like this player in this format. Trade him. I go, well, that fits your structure. It doesn't matter. Like, Shane's better at looking at that stuff than me. So I think we complement each other, but I think I've just noticed a lot of people with good roster construction. There's been some that have been a train wreck, but the majority are at least close to getting to the goal. Like 90% of their bench is running backs. They're not carrying 8 tight ends in a normal PPR league. They're not carrying, a bunch of, players that are dead weight, players that are NFL free agents, things like that. So I'm impressed. I'm honestly impressed with most of them.
Yeah, it's very cool. So if you're interested, email me at or email us at dynastytradesin5@gmail.com, or DM us on Twitter at tradesin5. We've got like a slight wait list going, not because whoa, we're amazing, crushing it, because we are limited by Scott leaving town and this and that, and we got a bunch at the same time. So anyway, holler at me. We'll figure it out. We'll work out a realistic time when we can get it turned around to you. But thanks, guys. Let's go in here. All right, Shane, I saw your message. Thank you. Ooh, Trades in 5 Listener League trade alert. Side A, Russell Wilson and 223 firsts. Side B, Patrick Mahomes and a 23 second. What did you think, Scott? Yeah, Shane might
familiar.
Shane might be involved in this one. Scott, what did you think about this when you saw it?
I can't comment.
Yeah, this is one where it kind of feels like I love getting the 2 firsts and Russ Wilson, because I can stay within my roster construction and my structure. At the same time, that second coming back, if you can use that to bridge the gap somewhere to get something close to worth a first. Because again, I mean, this has been a fairly tough league, I think, to trade in also. So if you can pull off getting a player at a good deal at some point during the year with that second, I like the Mahomes side, especially because it's a 14 team league too. And so it's I'm more apt to trade away my picks in 14 or 16 team leagues because I'm just gambling. The other person is gambling more. I mean, I've sent Clay some trades in both leagues, and you're hesitant to trade for picks, I think, in those leagues because it's deeper. If you get stuck with a bad pick, I think our conversation back and forth was even like, you don't protect my team to suck. So you're
if I
you're
give
taking
you
on
Aaron
23
Rodgers,
first.
if I
Right,
give
but
you
you're
Aaron
taking on a
Rodgers, my
23
first is getting
first.
crappier. Yeah.
True, but it could be 113 and you're sitting there going, man, if it's 113, then that trade crushed me. Now if it's 102 in a 14 team league and you end up with a young quarterback, so the swings and misses are bigger in 14 and 16 team leagues, so it's harder to trade. So I think I'd lean the Russ Wilson and 2 first sides, but and I know what side got the second. What the team that got the second, what can they do with that? If they can get some production or a starter, then I'll maybe lean Mahomes.
Okay, let's hide that one. Thank you, Senra says. Okay, so let's go through some super stickers. Mark, thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Thanks,
and he's
Mark.
got this right here. 5 sleeps until real football. Let's ride. My favorite YouTube content.
Oh, and
my friend. We appreciate you.
I stepped up the lighting game. I didn't like the last light, so I've already replaced that, and we've upgraded.
The strobe's gone. The disco light.
What happened to Disco gone. Shane?
I wasn't a fan of it, so I upgraded it. Josh Larkey on Twitter mentioned that he had some really nice lighting for cheap. So I was like, all right, let me get that too. Shared the link, and I like it.
All right, nice. No, looks good. Matt's got this up here. Thank you very much, Matt. Great team review. Highly recommend it. Thanks. You are very welcome. Thank you as well.
Thanks, Matt.
Mark here. Sorry in advance. This is great. Don't you love reading that first? Just traded Mixon a 23 first random for guaranteed 101 in a 16-team league. RBs are gold. Thoughts? It's a start 10, half PPR, 0.25 point per carry. So that's a big reward for running backs there. 0.5 rush. What are we seeing here? What do you think that is? Anyway, looks like RBs are absolute gold, like he's saying. No QB, but double Superflex. 4-point pass, TD, -4 interception. Wow, this is some settings here.
So you could start up to 2 quarterbacks, but you don't have to start any. So it's one of those. I mean, look, I'm a little worried that one for random first you gave up could be the 102, and then this feels like an awful trade. But knowing that the 101 is probably Bijan Robinson in a point per carry league, I can't be mad at trading a 26-year-old running back and a random first. It's a lot to pay in a 16 team, but Bijan's that good that I'm willing to make that move.
Yeah, and it's a half PPR,
right?
And that's half point per first down for rushing and receiving. And the other thing is really, I mean, he says running backs are gold, and you can see why, because the quarterback position is extremely devalued here.
Big time.
You don't have to start one, and half the ones you're starting are probably scoring negative in a lot of weeks because of the the -4 for interceptions. So it's almost like Scott Fishbowl scoring, but even more extreme, and you don't even have to start a quarterback. So you're either getting the guys that are positional advantages, or does anyone want, Daniel Jones? No, he's not worth anything. He might say quarterback, but literally he's worth nothing. I'd rather have a running back that's getting 8 carries is going to outscore him in a given week. So yeah, I mean, feels bad now because I bet you the team with Mixon in the first is going, yeah, if that first is just a decent player, man, because Mixon probably smashes in this because he's one of those, 340 touch running backs.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like the deal. It's a big gamble. It's got to be the 101. If it's the 101, you're going to love it next year, though. Great trade.
No, it's great. And thank you for the super chat, Mark. Appreciate you. All right. So let's hide that one. What else we got here? Got to hit these first. Are you trying to drive here, Shane?
I was just trying.
Easy there, Tiger. All right.
He's excited.
Look, this is what happens, you guys. The people have given us money so that I can have some indelible rights, some rights that you want to take from me. So I just want to exercise my rights.
Okay, fair enough. All right, use it. Okay, Dakota, thank you very much for the super chat here. We got 10 teams, start 9 with a vomit emoji there. Top 2 to 3 contender. Okay. Swift, Robert Woods. It's one side, or a late 23 first. So it's definitely a top 3 team. 24 first, which would be Dakota's, Dameon Pierce, 24 second. Okay, so let me rephrase here. You ready? So Swift, Robert Woods, or late 23 first, 24 first, Dameon Pierce, 24 second, and 3 pieces there. 10 teams start 9.
I don't want any of those 3 pieces, but I mean, so if I make the trade on the right-hand side, I'm already trying to trade Pierce, and I'm kind of shooting myself in the foot, because then you know what I'm going to be immediately doing after that? I'm going to be looking to try to trade for a running back with 2 of those firsts. Yeah. So basically, I'm going to put in a lot of work to try to get DeAndre Swift back. So because it's only start 9, I'm gonna sit tight with Swift, especially because he's a top 3 to contender. Like if my team was ass cheeks, I think that I would take the picks and Pierce, who's another pick, but I'll hold on to Swift here.
So I'm going to go the other way. It's going to be a little bit of a theory or an idea here, because I think that if you're a top 2-3 contender, Swift shouldn't cripple your team to where you can't be a playoff team without him. And really what you're banking on is something that I've made a big investment on in my portfolio this year is I just said before we started, I'm having trouble going and targeting those late firsts and extracting random first value from people, because a lot of people are hesitant to trade starters that they know are starters on their team. All of that changes in week 5 when the team that won't trade a starter today is 1-4. That's when you pounce. That's when you have Dameon Pierce. Forget about Dameon Pierce. Sure, if you can flip him for another first, cool. Now you're just working with 3 firsts. The other players, I mean, Christian Kirk, Rondale Moore, Robert Woods, Hunter Henry, I mean, they're probably fillers. It's really Swift for Pierce and 2 firsts. Can I get a running back that can supplement Swift's production for the second half of the year and not have to give those 3 firsts back? That's what it is. If you can do it for 1 or 2 firsts, can you trade Dameon Pierce and the 24 first for somebody's Derrick Henry in week 5 when he's smashing and you still bank the 23 first? That would be my idea. That's the gamble that you're taking, but I think I'd still take the value side as long as my league's active. It's one of those where there's no trades, then
right. If you could make something happen with all those pieces. Yeah. All right. Thank you very much, Dakota. Appreciate that. Okay. Let's go. Here we go. Start 11, Superflex 10-team PPR. Traded Saquon and Godwin at an early 23 third for Breece Hall and a 23 first.
I like it.
Yes.
Give me Breece over Saquon by a kabillion. Maybe not a kabillion. That's a little high.
A touch under.
A touch under kabillion, and then the 23 first for Godwin is more than adequate for me. So I like this.
Yep, that's how I see it. Slight advantage on both sides on the Breece and the 23 first. So like the deal.
Yeah, good trade. I always like it when I see trades and like there's a 23 first and Breece on one side. You know what I mean? Or you see trades, it's like Jamar Chase and the 23 first. It's like, God, you're getting studs and 23 first. Okay, so let's hide that one. We got first name, 12 teams, Superflex, start 9, competing. Got Chubb and Mostert in a third. Gave a 23 first, Toney, and a late 23 second. So gave a 23 first, Toney, and a late 23 second, and got Chubb, Mostert in a third. So Chubb.
So look, I obviously don't know what the trading looks like in your league, but if I'm giving up a 23 first, funny enough, I want a running back like Saquon Barkley. I want someone with a lot of ceiling. I love Nick Chubb, but unfortunately the Browns don't particularly like him towards the goal line or as a receiving back. So he's limited in his upside. And the 23 first, again, in my mind, that could be Bijan Robinson. So if I look back in a year and I gave up Bijan Robinson or maybe Sean Tucker for Nick Chubb, I don't know how I'd feel about that. The way I do it, it'd be bad. I would feel bad about it. So I'm going to hold on to the first and hope that I could have gotten a better running back.
Yeah, this is what it feels like if you try to make these trades with your picks right now. This trade 2 months ago, you're going, okay, I probably will give away Chubb for a first, and that's a slam dunk. Now, like someone offers me a random first for probably Chubb, I would take it. But if it's Barkley or if it's a tier above this, Eckler, someone like that,
Mixon,
there's a chance I say, you know what, I'm not going to do the deal because I'm setting the lineup, and that's not how we should be thinking. But we are all guilty of that. We all look at our team and go, you know what, I like where this team is. I don't want to trade for picks. But I do think there are certain times where you almost just take that first, especially in an active league. I'd be okay with it being Chubb. The other pieces, it's a free second essentially. So I'd take the picks.
Right. Okay, let's go to this one here from Melissa. 12 team, 1 QB, start 9. Would you trade Ezekiel Elliott for Schultz and a 23 second? My RBs are Zeke, Breece Hall, ETN, CMC, and Pollard.
No, that a first. I would consider it with your RBs, but yeah, I probably would hold. Keep Zeke.
Keep Zeke. Shane,
right.
Look at Shane.
This is why we're going to take the powers away from me, because then I start doing stuff like that.
No, you're good. What do you think about this one, Scott or Shane?
No, I'm not trading Elliott for Schultz at a 23 in a second. And I don't even like Ezekiel Elliott, and I think he's a big fat Oompa Loompa. But no, Schultz isn't a difference maker at the tight end position, and I'm definitely not. I'm not doing this. Not enough. Elliott, I should get a first for him. I don't care if it's.
Would you do a first with this team? Would you do a first?
Would I trade a first?
No. Would you take the first, regardless?
Yes.
It's a 1 QB start 9. You'd take the first.
Okay. Yes.
The first. Yeah. Got plenty of flexibility there. Okay, thank you for the question. All right, go ahead, Shane.
Yeah. So, show. There we go. Ben Carlson says, send in my roster. Oh, nope, I already screwed it up, Clyde. This is why you read things. Okay.
I'll screw it up too. Send in my info for a roster review today. Looking forward to the insight from you guys. In the meantime, first-time Dynasty player in a rebuild. Do I shop Pacheco? 10-team PPR, start 10. What's up, Ben? How are you? Thank you. What do you think, guys?
So I just want to put this out there. I don't care if you're in a rebuild, if you're the defending champion, if you're in the championship game, you are trading Pacheco. I mean, just the hit rates on, what's he, a 7th round running back? Is that what we remember? The hits rate on 7th round running backs is brutal. It is absolutely atrocious. Mostly what you're looking for is spot starters. So if anyone's willing to give you a second for Pacheco, you do that. And I do not care if you are a contender or a pretender or a rebuild, because even if you're a contender, you can use that second later in the season and probably get someone like Leonard Fournette or his equivalent in the season, someone that's actually going to give you good starts.
You know what's interesting is the Pacheco market has cooled now because the team just kept Ronald Jones. That's all it took for people to go, man, this guy might not even be active in week 1. That's it. I mean, and I'm not saying he can't be good. I don't think there's been anything that changes. I would probably put him still as the overwhelming favorite to be the second most productive running back on the team. But the fact that they keep a 4th running back who everyone hates has literally pushed his market down to where nobody is out there going, oh, yeah, I'll pay a second. And there were a lot of people saying I'll pay a second before, when it was like, oh, Rojo could get cut, McKinnon could get cut, and that's all it took. That should just speak to the value fragility that a 7th round player is always going to have. So just think about that when you're dealing with players in these ranges. Forget about what they're doing on the field. Just think about if there's any negative on them, how the community is going to turn right away and go, oh, man, did you see his draft capital? It was bad. Don't invest in that player. So you really don't want to be holding those landmines. So, yeah, I would definitely get out. Get out.
All right, Shane, would you mind hiding that, my friend? Thank you very much, Ben. Appreciate it. We look forward to checking out your squad. There we go. Find it, Shane. You got it. Okay, now if you would excuse me for a moment to mess up an ad read here. Wait till you hear me try to say precision. You ready? So, guys, support for this live stream is brought to you by none other than Manscaped. I didn't even make it to precision. Who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Their products are precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped's Performance Package is the ultimate men's hygiene bundle. Join over 6 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer for you. 20% off and free worldwide shipping when you use the code TRADESIN5. at manscaped.com. That's tradesin5 at manscaped.com. If my math is correct, that is 12 million balls. Thank you for indulging me, guys. We're still in this like trial run with Manscaped. We'll see how it goes. Kind of jacked it up in the last video,
Look,
right?
I'll say this.
You got your ball story ready for later, Shane?
I don't have a ball story ready, but I'll just say that no one likes shaving their balls, but Manscaped makes it very easy. It's not like they send someone to do it for you, because that would be even easier, but I'm pretty sure that's illegal. But at least the supplies themselves make it really, really easy.
Yeah. And like I said in the not to do a little quid pro quo here, but if you happen to purchase something with our promo code TRAINSIT5, shoot us an email. We'll figure out something cool.
Yeah, and send ball pics to Clay before and after.
Nice.
This is why Shane does not have the creative control on the ad reads.
Yeah.
If it's live, you never know where it's gonna go.
Yeah, it's it's very risky. Okay, let's go back to the comments here. Okay, we got John Fisher, 10 team, 1 QB, start 9, half PPR, Dynasty League on a contending team. Traded Lance, Bateman, and Hawkinson for Pitts and Zach Wilson.
Oh, this is 1 QB. Bro, you got Pitts. You know how I feel about this. I mean, yeah, you did good. I mean, you gave up. I see what the other guy did. He's like, oh, well, Hawkinson isn't that far from Pitts, right? Because Hawkinson's like the tight end to 8 overall. So the tight end 1 to 8 overall really isn't that different. They might as well play different positions. Yeah, this is. I'm so happy with the Pitts side.
Yeah, I knew Shane was going to say just take Kyle Pitts no matter what. Yeah, I would agree in 1 QB. Yeah. I mean, sure, you're getting the upside with Lance over Zach Wilson, who's probably not even usable in 1 QB. But yeah, give me the Pitts side.
So check this one out here. Let's stick with another Pitts trade. John, 12 team Superflex PPR 1.5 tight end premium start 9. Give Hawkinson, Dameon Pierce, and a 23-second. Get Kyle Pitts.
I'm proud of you, John. I mean,
you've done good, kid.
You used Pierce's hype against your other league mates. You used the hope of what Hawkinson could have been against your league mates, and then you're like, "Here's a second too." So, dude was like, "Sure." In the start 9, just give me a bunch of different stuff for the best player in the league. Sure.
If that's a 23 first, is it closer?
Yes, but it ain't.
If it's a 23 first,
it's move forward.
Yeah, move forward. Okay. All right. So let's go here. 619 Phenom, 1248, 12 team PPR Superflex start 10. Before B-Rob got shot, I traded Tyler Algier, a 24 third and 4th for Antonio Gibson. Did it age well? So gave Algier a 3rd and a 4th for Gibby.
Yeah, that aged like fine cheese. But you know what? Even when Antonio Gibson was at his lowest, I don't know what you call that, the opposite of apex.
Punt returning.
Punt returning. Yeah, even when he was punt returning, I mean, that's still a good deal, because at worst, this was a guy that was in a committee that has shown that he can have 300 touches a year and put up a high-end RB2 season. So yeah, I like that deal even back then.
Yeah, I mean, just think about how far Antonio Gibson has gone to basically be trading him straight up for Tyler Algier.
I know, right?
And I've been big on a Gibson kick. The problem is now you don't want to be big on a Gibson kick. Let's just wait for things to go south a little bit after a couple games, and you can get right back on. But yeah, buy players with his pedigree, with a 300 touch season, and do it if you can trade Tyler Algier. So I like the deal. Well done.
Well done. Well done. Okay, so we've got kind of lurking right around the 100 eyeball mark up there in the corner. If you wouldn't mind taking those beautiful eyeballs and looking down, making sure you hit that thumbs up button, we'd appreciate it.
And hit the share. And thanks, Reese Chapman. By the way, the word is Nader, Ralph Nader.
Yes. Ralph Nader.
Yes.
Oh, you said Nadir.
Yeah. You said Nadir.
Yeah, I said Nadir and Nader. So neither of them are correct. Yeah.
We love Shane. Shane is the best. He's not the worst.
I'm good at one thing. It's fantasy football trades and strategy. Speaking English, not my strong suit.
Mine either. I do like the way that Dave says this here. So closing window contender. I think that's cool. Gave Gibson and Jacoby got A-Rob, Melvin Gordon, and a 23 fourth.
Yeah,
I'm good with it.
I like it. Allen Robinson could be a top 15 wide receiver this year. So that's a smash and grab.
Nice. Yeah. Solid trade there. Okay. Brett, 12 team, Superflex, PPR, start 10. Burrow or JT? I like these ones. Have Josh Allen, Justin Herbert, and Burrow. No others.
I mean, with that context, I'm not going to be like, oh, that's a bad trade, because you're gaining some intrinsic value by converting a third quarterback who's probably only going to be in your lineup 20, 30% of the time for a guy you start every week. So I get that. I'd prefer, I don't know what Shane's response is going to be, but if you give me a third, I'll feel better about the deal. But I'm good with it.
Throwing a third to play with later.
So here's my only drawback. Because Burrow is a first-round startup pick, can I trade him for two pieces where I'm splitting the leverage, but I'm also giving myself a higher upside than with one running back? Not that Jonathan Taylor's not a really good running back, but there's some fragility when you're doing a one-for-one deal and you're moving a quarterback for a running back. Can you get a first and a veteran running back that's going to still produce for 2 years? The outcome is going to be no different. And you're giving yourself a little insurance by getting the first. Sure, let's just say you traded for Dalvin Cook. Is he going to last as long as Jonathan Taylor? Probably not. But if he can give you 2 years, close to 90-95% of Jonathan Taylor, I'd rather do that than pay for the supposed longevity of Jonathan Taylor, because in 2 years, there's going to be no such thing as longevity for Jonathan Taylor. It's going to be the same argument you're dealing with a lot of the veterans. So I'd rather get a 2-for-1.
I mean, obviously, I'd prefer if you went and tried to get Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase. Got his name right on the first try. But I'm actually fine with this. Look, it's about winning, right? That's where we're at now. This is where we have to flip our mindsets, right? It's great having 3 of the top 7 quarterbacks, 8 quarterbacks, even though Burrow's kind of overpriced in that range. It shouldn't be there anyway, but that's another story. But I understand you're like, all right, well, let me go get the RB1. Yep. You know what I mean? And yes, it's a fragile position, but really there's risk with anything you do in season. There's always risk with running backs, which is, why I build dumpster fires at running back. And then guess what? When the season comes, I'm one of the first people that comes looking for your JTs and Najees and your
and you've got some ammo to get them. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. Okay, awesome. So I'm going to go over to so we posted in the community chat asking for trades and mainly questions for tonight's show. We wanted it to be kind of more like a powwow, like let's talk strategy, man. It's go time. Let's put this one up. Can you explain the impact of full point tight end premium in a half point PPR league versus a 1.5, 1.75, so tight end premium and full PPR? Which does it most closely correlate to, and how should tight ends be valued? You understand that question? Half point versus PPR? Go ahead.
So let Scott actually handle this one. He's done a lot of work on this.
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking at, it's essentially the same as, it actually has more of an impact than like 2 PPR would, because if you think about 2 PPR against just a point per PPR league, so 1 PPR for everything and then 2 PPR for tight ends, you're looking at a pretty high flex rate for tight ends in that format. And it's probably the same thing here. I think the only difference is tight ends are going to dominate wide receivers more so than running backs because it is half PPR. So if anything, it probably just pushes some of the receivers out of the flexes, and I'm okay probably taking my wide receiver threshold, how many receivers I want to build with, and converting some of those to tight ends. Doesn't change the scarcity though. So I think that's the thing, is when you get into these premiums, if it's still start 1, all you're looking at is where is the cutoff for when my tight ends can be flexed. So I'll give you an example. In 1.75 PPR, like historically, it's right around like tight end 13 to 15. So you're gaining no extra value by drafting tight end 19. I mean, this is theoretically speaking because the tight end 19 could be the tight end 12 production-wise, but you get the point. You're gaining no extra value by adding tight end 20 to your team in a 1.75 PPR with start 1. Because really you shouldn't be putting that player in the flex because it's still going to be below the receivers that you probably could have gotten. I think where it also comes into if you're doing startup drafts and trades is what I've seen is when you're in these formats, people don't adjust to the scoring quick enough. So they will start, you get into startup and it's like a guy like Austin Hooper still goes where his ADP is. And people are taking wide receivers 75 over him. You're going like, really? So you're taking like Tyquan Thornton over Austin Hooper. In a PPR league, fine. I can understand that. In 2 PPR, it's like Austin Hooper is going to outscore all but 35 wide receivers. So why are you taking like bad prospect low-end receivers over him? That's the mistake, and I think where you have to adjust is based on your market. And I think you can smash people in this format if you're able to kind of load up on those like fringe threshold tight ends between like tight end 12 and 20.
Like Higbee,
you get those,
like those
Evan
types,
Ingram, Gerald Everett, Herb Smith. Who the problem is you have to pick like which 4 or 5 you want out of like a group of 20 of them. And some of them will suck. Some of them you'll go like, I don't want to start this guy. I don't want to start a guy that goes, 45, 550 and 1 touchdown, but if you can get your hands on like a really cheap Evan Ingram or something like that, that's going to outpace the same, like that's going to outscore Brandon Ayuk. Yet people are out there paying like first for Brandon Ayuk, and Evan Ingram's not going to go for a first. So that's where you gain the advantage by kind of playing the market. So I hope that answers the question, but I think it correlates mostly to probably the 1 and 2 PPR and just treat it the same.
That's good. Okay, so let's go into Kevin here. Thank you very much. Very generous of you. Appreciate that. Win now, 12 teams, Superflex, start 9. Brady, Tannehill, Jones, Eckler, Mixon, Jacobs, Najee Harris, B-Rob. I guess that's Tyreek Hill, Godwin, A-Rob, Ridley, Thielen. So I'm reading off a bunch of players here. I think I have another shot this year, but would really want to use Pitts to get a QB. Okay, so Brady and Tannehill are his QBs, and he wants to use Pitts to get another one. This is Superflex, start 9.
I mean, like morally, I'm opposed to it. But if you do it, then I'm morally opposed to trading Pitts. But if you're going to do it, you better be getting a top 5 quarterback. Because I don't know that you have another championship run in you, to be quite honest. Not to be mean, but Tannehill and Brady, you're replacing Tannehill, fine. Brady's going to retire again sometime next year or the year after. Jacobs, Mixon, aging out. B-Rob, love the guy, but he's coming back from gunshot wounds, so I don't know what he's going to be. Tyreek Hill is already. I've moved on from him. I mean, in a start 9, I guess you could. It's just if you're going to do it, you better be getting an absolute top 5 quarterback for Pitts. Not Dak Prescott, not Joe Burrow. We're talking Konami code or I throw for 45 touchdowns a year in the future, Justin Herbert type of quarterbacks.
Yeah, start at the top. Start at the top with the quarterbacks.
Start at the top, work your way down. I do think you have to look at the shallower the number of starters. I'm okay paying for the quarterback a little bit more because if I can lock in a quarterback, even in a 4-2, so 4 passing touchdowns, -2 for interceptions. If I can lock in a quarterback that's putting up 25, 26 points per game, and others are rolling out quarterbacks that are scoring 12, 13, 14. It's going to be very hard in a PPR league. I don't care if Kyle Pitts has 100 for 1,512 touchdowns. The odds he outscores some of the other starters in the league by 10 points is extremely low. So locking in a Herbert, Mahomes, Allen, I mean, you can go for Lamar and Kyler too. I think I prefer the other 3. I'd prefer to add to the other 3 because it's a start 9. Mm-hmm. But if you can lock in, Herbert or Mahomes especially, like you're probably getting 24, 23 points per game for years, regardless of who the weapons are. Pitts is great, but this isn't the format where I'm picking Pitts in the first round over those guys. So, yeah, I would shoot my shot for that and take the hit at tight end because there's a chance you can buy back in on a tight end closer to Pitts as they age. Easier than you're going to be able to buy another Mahomes or Herbert or Allen.
Nice. Thank you again. Appreciate that. Okay, so from Ian, precision tools for your family jewels. Thank you very much.
Well done. Thank you, Manscaped. Well, thank you. You helped the ad read. Boom.
Indeed. And then Ian, here's his question here. So 10 team, half PPR, 1 QB, start 8, no tight end premium, Waller for Mooney and a 24-second. Rebuilding team also have Hawkinson trying to tank from MySpace. Yeah, you can hit us up at Trades and 5 on MySpace too, if that thing.
Oh, there's no tight end premium, right? So obviously, and it's start 8, so this is really going to depress Waller's. I kind of want to hold Waller into the season before I move him and see if I can do better than Mooney in a 24-second. But I get the impetus behind the trade. If you're rebuilding, it makes sense. But I probably would have liked to hold in season till Waller's scoring again and people like him again.
Yeah, I mean, really what should be valued here is the positional advantage more so than the pick and the Darnell Mooney. So I would lean it just based on that side. I'd want the positional advantage, but you really don't care about the positional advantage because you're rebuilding. So I think it's just, can you get something? You got to try to get something better for Waller. I would rather add to Waller another piece that you're shedding for a first than accept 2 pieces for him right now. So that's how I'd go about it. And you might get gridlocked though. So if this is the best you can get, you know your league better than us.
Yeah, that's important. Okay, so we got from Casey here. Thank you as always, Casey. Quick trade question: 12 team, 1 QB, half PPR, no premium, start 9. Give Josh Jacobs or Elijah Mitchell and Goddard. Get Kamara in a 23-second. How does Kamara's possible suspension affect his value?
So from everything we hear, the suspension's probably not going to be until 2023, right? He's not going to have, his value is just going to decrease anyway, to be quite honest with you, because it'll be 28 at that point. I like this because Jacobs and Mitchell are just kind of I like Goddard, but not enough to Kamara. Yeah, Kamara's an actual guy that can be a difference maker. If hopefully they don't use him like they did last year as like a pure running back, and they go back to the 81 reception per year, Alvin Kamara. So I definitely I want that Kamara side in the second. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean Goddard in a 1 QB half PPR doesn't do much for me. He's the perfect, like you said. You also have Komet. It was probably a headache to pick which one you really wanted to start most weeks too. So, yeah, I like this. And just to answer the question on Kamara's suspension, I have very, very little Kamara. I've tried to trade for more, but people basically want, Barkley prices. Like they want a first plus to get him right now because they're probably going, you know what? I'm in the clear. He's going to play this year. The time to buy Kamara is going to be when those teams fall out of the race or rookie draft time. If everyone knows he's going to get suspended, I'll buy on the back half of his career when he's going for 112 or less. 0 RB teams next year are going to be loaded with Kamara in my portfolio.
Yeah, that's for sure. Thank you, Casey. And then he had a follow-up 10-12 super chat. Thank you very much. I had my roster reviewed by the guys. Highly recommended. In-depth. Had a great analysis, advice. Much appreciated. Just submit your rosters already. Thank you very much, Casey. Appreciate that.
Appreciate it, Casey. Always.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah, I go through and check out Shane and Scott's reviews, and they are awesome. They are awesome and freaking hilarious. Okay. Okay, so Dynasty 12 team, Superflex, PPR, start 10. Give Kadarius Toney, Ronald Jones, and TDP. Get Shane Moore, Skyy Moore.
Yeah, I'm taking Skyy here, but this is betting on this specific player, right? I mean, you're betting on Skyy Moore over Kadarius Toney because Ronald Jones and TDP are, I don't want to call them trash cans, but they are definitely in the receptacle family. So definitely, yeah, Skyy Moore.
I don't like Kadarius Toney, but if this was another receiver that you perceive to be slightly less than Skyy Moore, I'm totally fine making this trade. I mean, I was just listening to Adam Kaplan today. He said TDP is the absolute handcuff in San Francisco. Don't let other people say differently. So I think you're getting potentially two, I don't even want to say usable running backs that you definitely want on rosters in these types of leagues. And then if you can just bet on, it's a coin flip at receiver. I mean, I don't like Toney, so I would take Skyy Moore, but you insert another name and I'm probably going, all right, I'll take that side. You put Jahan Dotson in this trade, I'll take Jahan Dotson in the running backs.
Yeah.
Like that type of deal where you think the receivers are closer. So just kind of understanding, I don't like Toney. Shane doesn't really like Toney. So we're taking the Skyy Moore side. But if this is a receiver where you're like, damn, I don't see the difference between the two receivers, take the free running backs. This is a great way to acquire some of those extra running backs without paying picks.
Absolutely. Okay. Let's go to another one of the questions. Okay. In terms of utilizing collected 2023 picks, I know Scott had mentioned hoping to get 2 hammers for a first type deals mid-season. So this is where Scott was saying, like, if I'm giving up a first, I want, Saquon and Mike Evans. I want 2 pieces to get that insulation. But what would you guys recommend for a team in a rebuild?
So is he rebuilding, or I'm just trying to?
Yeah. So it's collected. Rebuilding has a ton of these 23 picks.
I mean, you're gonna use a good bit of them, but what I'll say is I don't know how many you have, but try to use at least 2 of those, maybe on a quarterback, because you don't want to have to be guessing on quarterbacks, and that's the one hole that you can continually try to fill. In rookie drafts and never hit. I mean, just for an example, I had a league before the NFL draft where we took Malik Willis at 101, and then we took Matt Corral at 201, and we were feeling pretty good about ourselves. And then life happened, and now guess what? We just had to trade another future first and a player to get Justin Fields. When in theory we could have just traded a future first and Justin Fields in the first place and been done with it. So if I can do that, that's what I'm going to do with a couple of my firsts. And then I'm big on using my rookie picks on running backs. Obviously, I'm going best player available. But if it's close, if it's 50-50, I like using running backs only because, one, their hit rate is their turnaround on hitting is sooner, and their resale value is a lot easier in their rookie and second year than a wide receiver.
So just add a little context to this comment. So I've been saying this for a while that I want to hold my picks. What I want to try to do is sell in the midseason and get 2 usable pieces. I say 2 hammers. I think that might be a little aggressive. There's going to be a lot of leagues where if the person is just at all cognizant of the market, they're not going to just hand you 2 older, super productive, good players for 1 single first. But you want to have those extra firsts in your back pocket because you go, all right, if you find I'm not picking on Shane because I love Shane, but if you find a guy like Shane that is contending, but he starts off 1-4, Shane's a little volatile. He'll go, yep, Tyreek Hill too old, Mike Evans too old, Derrick Henry too old, Joe Mixon too old. I need picks. You give him a first, second, and third, he'll give you 2 of those guys. Like if you can find somebody like that, that's where you make that kind of trade. If you have to add in a second or add in a rookie like David Bell or something like that to get the 2 starters, that's what I'm talking about, getting the hammers. Those deals are going to be tough to come by. Those are going to be uncomfortable too. You may have to trade. You might be in 4th place, Clay. You don't want to trade your first because you're not sure about your team, but there might be one chance to get a deal like this. And you got to pull the trigger. When that team goes on tilt and goes, I'm trading anybody over 28 is gone. And you're the guy that has 5 firsts, he probably is going to want to deal with you other than the team that's trading him seconds and 24 picks. He's going to want your 23 first. So if you can come to a compromise on which ones to trade, then I think you can get these types of deals. Otherwise, I'm with Shane. I do not want to go into 2023, even with potentially 4 or 5 really good quarterbacks. I don't want to have to rebuild my quarterback room with rookie picks, because then you're going to sit there and go, man, like we did a roster review for somebody and their only QB was Mitch Trubisky. They had a ton of picks. But it's like for them to really end up with a good quarterback room, they probably have to use 4 or 5 of those firsts on quarterbacks. And 2 of them are going to suck. Whereas I'm pretty confident if I'm drafting like first round receivers in rookie drafts, I have a much better thought of at least being able to have a liquid asset regardless of whether they're starting for 1 year. If they're Jalen Reagor, if they're Terrace Marshall, then okay, I lost. But you could have still sold those guys early in the season for most of what you were drafting them for. If a guy's not starting right away at quarterback, good luck. You're just basically waiting for them to start. And then running backs, like Shane said, that's what I want to use my rookie picks on. So it's a fluid thing, but that's what I do if I'm rebuilding. I don't want to make all the picks.
Okay, good question there. Okay, let me hide that one there. Okay, so any players that you feel the market value is lower than expected on that you would want to buy more shares of before the season starts for either long-term investment or to sell later to get more in return?
Well, Scott has one favorite player that I know he can speak on.
Who is that?
Yeah, who is that?
Everybody
in the audience is
I don't
wondering
even know.
Chris Godwin. You keep telling me how much you want to buy him everywhere.
Oh, well, I mean, yeah, but I don't think he's necessarily somebody that is be able to be bought at a discount. But yeah, that's a good one. That's a player. I look at, if I'm buying receivers, I'm buying the guys that are slightly devalued because of their situations, because situations change. So give me Terry McLaurin, give me Deontay Johnson, give me DJ Moore. Yep. All those guys are in I don't love their situation, so I'll sell them. When if they were on the Chiefs, you wouldn't sell them at all. No one would want to give them away. I'm looking more running backs. I mean, how many times, Shane, on our roster reviews have we seen some decrepit running back rooms? And you know who I've been buying? And I'm fine in PPR leagues. I will buy Nyheim Hines.
You've been buying a lot of Nyheim
And you know what?
I've seen it.
I have a couple running back rooms that are so depleted because I've literally liquidated everything for quarterbacks, tight ends, wide receivers, and picks. I will start Nyheim Hines every week, and I will get his 160 PPR points that he scores this year. And half of those weeks, it's going to be 3 catches for 30 yards and, 8.1 points. Other weeks, he's going to score, 18. He has 10 games over 19 points in the last 40 that he's played. So I'll kind of embrace that variance with a guy like him that I project to catch 60 balls on the season. I'll embrace the volatility because I'm going to probably end up getting pretty close to those teams that are jamming in Josh Jacobs and Rashad Penny every week. I'm probably going to end up getting a lot of the same production in half the weeks. So Hines is one. Raheem Mostert is the same thing. A little bit different than Hines, but he's one of those players where if you get four times this year, when you're going to start Mostert, pretty good shot he can get you 15 plus. When to play him.
When he's playing, he can put some points up. Good stuff. Good question there. Okay, let's go back to the comments here. God, we're
real quick
minutes in already. Oh, Shane.
I didn't talk, sir. I was just going to say, give me all the second-year wide receivers that smashed in their rookie years. That similar to what Scott was talking about, their situation looks like it got appreciably worse. Devonta Smith, Jalen Waddle, Elijah Moore. Just looking at what they did, Amon-Ra St. Brown, looking what all these guys did in their rookie seasons. Usually means that these guys are going to be hits for the rest of their career and high impact wide receivers. And I know you're getting a discount on a lot of these folks, Jesus Christmas, a lot of these players because of, their situations changing.
I love it. You said folks, and then you were like, oh, folks, what am I doing? Jesus Christmas. Followed up with a number. I was like, what is he going to say on top of that? Okay. All right, let's go back to the comments here. 16 team. Oh, yeah, what I was saying, when I cut off poor Shane from answering the question. We are 53 minutes in. We got 117 eyeballs in here. How are we doing on the likes, Shane?
Let me go back to the YouTube.
Yeah, let's put you on like patrol here real quick. Look down if you if you're liking it and haven't liked it, if you wouldn't mind just hitting that thumbs up. We appreciate it. The algorithm likes it. Shane likes it. Makes it feel special. Not bad.
Not bad. 94 likes. Thank you, folks. Appreciate that.
Thank you, everyone. Okay. Greg, 16 team, Superflex, start 10, 0.25 point per carry, PPR contending. Got offered Herbert, 23 second, 24 first. Would give Cousins, Mixon, Lamb. So give Cousins, Mixon, Lamb, and get Justin Herbert in a 23 second and a 24 first. Am I messing this?
No,
this is the Khalil Herbert. Okay. It's like, what
Well, if
is
it's
this?
Khalil Herbert, then it's definitely the Mixon, Lamb, and
I'll take the
Cousins side.
Mixon Cousins side.
I take the Herbert side.
Okay.
I mean, how hard have we talked about how hard it is to trade for those quarterbacks? They rarely are ever available. So if you get this deal, you're sitting there going, man, I'm going to give up 3 locked and loaded starters. But are you ever going to have another chance to acquire Justin Herbert? This might be the one time in that league in a 16-team Superflex. Yeah, I'm taking the Herbert side. The picks are, listen, if I really want to go buy something with those picks, I can probably buy another Joe Mixon level starter with those 2 picks somewhere and not take as big of a loss. So I'll just take the Herbert side all day.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say is you can definitely in a 16 team, I know you can use that 24 first to get a starter and the 23 second for another starter, to be quite frank. So I would do this because I am a Herbert guy, and as long as you haven't built your roster too poorly, this should really help you out.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Let me hide that one here. Where is it? All right. So you're gonna rapid fire now, Scott?
I am. Yeah. I will go ahead. We've got a lot of comments. Typically, we try to cut them off around 9:45 when we do these streams, just because we could literally go for 5 hours. So many great questions, so many great trades. I'm just going to throw some out there. There's a few that I starred that I think we can just get quick answers on. So here's one. Why is Calvin Ridley impossible to move? Clay, what do you think here? Now let's get to Clay because I know Clay is you got some rosters, Clay, that I know you're playing for the future. Are you even interested in Calvin Ridley right now, or you figure you can just buy him later and his price isn't going to go up?
No, I am. I definitely am. When I was in startups and knew that I was kind of going to be looking, at least not this year, more towards the future, I didn't mind taking Ridley. The hope is if he gets some buzz and gets on the field to just flip him. Honestly, I see him as a flip piece because the problem is his age. He's already losing value, but I'm just going to try to find that perfect window. Hopefully, he's back in the NFL and just sell him when he reaches peak value. What do you think, Shane? But yeah, he's tough to move right now. The only time I see him moved is when he's like a small piece in a deal. It's as if he was snuck into it. Go ahead, Shane.
No, I was just going to say he's hard to move because he's out this entire year, right? And he's not especially young. So when he comes back, he's going to be 28 years old. So he's just this weird, like, all right, well, what do I do with this guy? Like, I can't trade him to anyone that's contending right now, obviously, because, well, they don't want him. I can't trade him to a rebuilding team because, well, they also don't want a 28-year-old wide receiver coming off a suspension for gambling after he took off 4 or 5 weeks, due to mental health concerns. So there's a lot of, fair or unfair, what people will call baggage.
He's a wild card.
Right. And quite frankly, a lot of people were already a little down on him anyway. They said, well, is he really a one, or was it that Julio was there? Because we haven't seen him actually do it without Julio. And Julio hasn't been in Atlanta in what feels like 6 years now. I know it's only been 2, but that's part of the reason why he's hard to move, I think.
Yeah, the thing is he did have like 53 targets in 5 games last year. So, to say he's not able to earn targets, I don't think is fair. You can project, well, he may never come back. He may never be taken off the suspension list. You never know. There's been players in other sports that have gambled and they never get back. I'm not saying that's the case, but his price point isn't correct because you hear a lot of people just absolutely shitting on Calvin Ridley. But I'm like, you can buy him in startups super cheap, and it's guaranteed, like Clay said, he is gonna go up. All it takes is a couple people saying, hey, this might be a good time to buy Calvin Ridley next June when it's 2 months from the season. Well, at that point, then you're gonna go, but we already can foresee that window happening, right? The problem is you go to a team that has him and they're not winning. Like, I've tried to get him thrown in on deals and people go, no, I'm looking forward to him next year.
Yeah, it's like
then I try to trade him for a pick, or I try to throw him in a deal and it's, I don't want Calvin Ridley.
He holds no value when you're trying to give him.
There is a weird, a weird middle ground where it's hard to really figure out what his price is. So good question though. I had a couple other ones that I starred, but they're not really worth talking about because they were just digs on Shane. Sorry about that, Shane.
No, that's fine.
Shane, is James Conner worth a first?
I'm trading him for a first? Sure, do it. Trade him for a first.
How about a 1 QB point per carry?
Point per carry, like full 1.0?
Yeah, 1.0.
No,
1.0
like 0.25 point per carry. 1 QB.
No.
Nope. Okay.
No.
Clay, you agree?
I mean, I love James Conner when he's on the field, but I can't trust him. No way. Give me a first. Give me a 2027 first for him.
Max gave us some flack. He said, nobody trading you a top 5 QB for Kyle Pitts. Unless Shane is in your league and you're willing to trade him, Kyle Pitts. He'll work with you.
Then you hold on to him.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
That is definitely true.
You don't have to trade every player, which feels like blasphemy coming from my mouth, but you don't.
All right, we got another one here. Oh, yeah, first name put this in there earlier. 100% recommended roster review. Awesome and funny. We strive for the comedy, truthfully.
I'm just naturally goddamn hilarious. I can't help it.
If it was just me, you'd get a very surgical and technical roster review. And Shane just brings life to it, so I highly recommend it. Sean, we know Sean. Welcome, Sean. James Conner and a 23 first for Mark Andrews in a non-tight end premium. I thought this was interesting because you have to weigh the usable running back plus the first with that no premium, but man, it's a huge positional advantage. Where are you at on this one, Clay?
I need to know where the 23 first is. Is it a playoff 23 first, or does it have a chance of being a mid 23 first? There's some context.
Assume it's one of those where it's like the team is, you can't tell that they're going to suck, but they're not also the best team in the league. It's one of those where you're pretty confident it could go either way.
I mean, I see James Conner on that one side. I don't know. I don't like the no tight end premium part of it. I would probably take the 23 first.
Yes, you do. You take James Conner in the 23 first. There's no premium. I like Mark Andrews a lot, but yeah, bro, it's not like he's Kyle Pitts.
Can't argue with it. All right, Rolando, he just got offered Cam Akers and Christian Kirk for Deontay Johnson and Kenneth Walker.
No. Goddamn no.
Hey, watch the blasphemy here. It's 2 in a minute. I'm just teasing.
Heck no.
We gotta watch it.
Heck no.
I assume you're giving the worst player on both sides, right? Clay, Shane, do you like Cam Akers better than Kenneth Walker?
No, I do not. Nor should you. No.
There goes your answer.
No.
Rolando, boom. Don't do this deal.
And quite frankly, look, even if you like Akers over Walker, the difference between Akers and Walker is dwarfed between the difference between Deontay and Kirk there. Deontay is a legitimate, like at worst, wide receiver 15. Kirk, we're hoping, could even be a wide receiver too.
Can't argue. All right, so we're going to go for probably another 12, 15 minutes. I'll take a couple more from the chat when we get them, but a couple rapid fire trades here, guys. Ari Sigmund, 12-team Superflex, half PPR. Clay, give A.J. Dillon and Ramondre for Breece Hall.
Yes.
Shane's so excited. Yes.
Yes.
Breece Hall. Yes.
Hurry up. Go hit accept right now.
Yes. Hit accept.
Yeah.
Come back.
12-team start 10. I'm assuming this is just PPR. Cooper Kupp, Miles Sanders, and Michael Carter, or Mike Evans and A.J. Brown.
I mean, so the only one I would start on the one side is Cooper Kupp.
Yeah.
But it's a very good start.
Yeah.
Ooh, Mike Evans and AJB. Oh, man. I'm going to have to go the AJB side of Mike Evans.
Me too.
Yeah.
Shane, you can take this one real quick.
Yes.
Oh, yes, you can.
23 first. I did that today. Look, stay true to my process. Stay true to the process. The process is you cash in a lower priced asset, an asset that you bought cheaper, and get it for what is basically an NFT in a 23 first.
It'll be fun to look back on this video in like 10 months.
When NFTs
go get George Pickens. I gotta have George Pickens. Give up two firsts.
Here's the process, right? So you do this every time, right? Every time with a receiver that you get at 201, and you're gonna be fine. And guess what? If you need to in 3 years, go pay 2 firsts to get the one guy that hit. You have those at your disposal.
Well said. Clay, here's one. You're fading tight end. Who would you rather have, Gerald Everett or Hayden Hurst?
I'm going Gerald Everett. I'm going to go with the player as a quarterback who may throw to tight ends. Hayden Hurst does not have one of those. I'll go Gerald Everett because he has a bear.
I'm never letting go of Gerald Everett. Like this is until this happens, I'm holding on to Gerald Everett. I don't know if you guys know, but he is the next. I can't remember the dude's
Jordan
name.
Reed.
He's the next Jordan Reed. Exactly.
Rule
McVay
86.
drafted him just to be his Jordan Reed. And yeah, I know he's moved on to like 6 teams since then, but it's going to happen eventually.
Listen, if you listen to the Austin Eckler show on Yahoo this week, they had Justin Herbert on, and he went out of his way and mentioned Gerald Everett as being a changer in the offense. Now, we heard that when he went to Seattle last year. We've heard that when he was on the Rams. So, be cognizant. But, yes, I would take Gerald Everett. That's pretty close, but I would take Gerald Everett. Michael, there's another Cooper Kupp trade. I assume PPR. Clay, Cooper Kupp and Damian Harris, Rashad Bateman, Toney Pollard, and a first.
Yeah, I mean, bye Cooper Kupp. Thank you for your amazing 2021 season.
Those are the ones where you go, okay, let me break this down. Toney Pollard, I'd take over Damian Harris.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm getting a Bateman and a first for Cooper Kupp. Like that's a dream deal that goes in your inbox. So well done if you can actually get that. This was a good one from Dakota. Do you think we respect the market too much? For instance, perceived value between Herbert, Mahomes, and Josh Allen and Kyler and Lamar is about a first, but he's fine making the pivot down for a little bit less.
No, and I think, not to pimp our roster reviews, but we do talk about that in there because you get more league specific. And trust me, I am pragmatic, if nothing else. I realize that there's an optimum outcome, and then there's the outcome that I can actually get in the league that I'm in. You know what I mean? Because I can only make the deals that are available to me. So that's why, on Twitter, if someone's ever like, oh, I don't like that trade for you, Shane, because you gave up value. I'm usually like, well, no, I didn't because I made 13 offers in my league. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm okay with accepting, like, does this ultimately make my team better, my roster better, my assets better? Again, it's not looking for perfect in the sense that it destroys the good. Like if I can get good, that's fine. If I can't get perfect, I'm not going to say, well, then I'm just going to hold out and get nothing. So no, on a large scale level, we want to respect the market. When we get into our leagues, we want to respect what that individual market is.
Clay, how do you feel about this one real quick before you answer? If you have Herbert, Mahomes, or Allen, does it feel a little risky to you to move down to Kyler or Lamar?
I don't mind it.
Okay.
I don't mind it at all because I still feel good that I'm staying up in the first few tiers there. When you start talking Burrow, Dak, that's when I get a little queasy. Wouldn't go down to Russell Wilson. Like there has to be a line, and if the line is Kyler and Lamar, I'm in.
Fair enough.
I'll do it. Here, let me. Oh, okay. Is this another one? We've already done this one.
Yeah, we already did this one.
Yeah. Here, let me take over for a second here because Nathan posted this this trade in a few different spots on the channel, and I didn't have time to write down or create a bubble for him. So let me just read it to you guys. Scott, if you wouldn't mind just taking that one down so we don't confuse. Thank you. So Nathan asks, okay, it's 10 teams, Superflex, start 9, half PPR, gave Dalvin Cook, Pacheco, and Dameon Pierce, got Javonte Williams, Gus Edwards, a 23 first, which is probably mid to late. And he said he's win now.
I'm going to have to stop you right there and ask you to read that trade again because I was reading the comments and got distracted.
It included Dalvin Cook, and you also you gave away Isiah Pacheco and Dameon Pierce and got Javonte Williams and a 23 first.
Yeah, so here it is, Shane. It was a 10-team Superflex, start 9, half PPR. Gave Dalvin Cook, Pacheco, Pierce, got Javonte Williams, Gus Bus, and a mid 23 first, mid to late.
Yeah, got. You traded all the hype trains. I love it. And you got a bus back, which is fun. But you got Javonte and a 23 first. So, bro, yeah, I'm all with that.
A bus with blown tires that are never.
Well, yeah, his tires not great, but
Okay. You still going here, Scott?
Am I back to driving? All right, let me finish these out. We got a couple more. This is a good one. 2 tight end dynasty league. Did any of these guys have value? Taysom Hill, no. At least I don't want Taysom Hill. Adam Troutman. I think Adam Troutman is somebody that people do not respect. I mean, you got to give tight ends more than 2 years before you say they're terrible. I've seen people talk about cutting Adam Troutman. So I think these guys have value. You guys are in 2 tight end leagues. Like, you'll take these guys on the back of your bench, and you're not going to give them up for thirds, most likely.
Right. No. Adam Troutman, look, tight ends, and that's the dirty little secret is we all act like we know that they're not going to hit in their rookie year. And then when they don't, we're like, I hate this guy. And we all know that for the most part, most tight ends don't even hit in their second year.
Yeah.
But despite knowing that, we go, after the second year, I'm done with this guy. I give up. And that's Adam Troutman. So I'm not giving up on Adam Troutman already, especially in a 2 tight end dynasty league. And Logan Thomas, sure enough, has value if he's healthy this year, especially tied to Carson. I love nothing more than tight ends in my life, Wentz.
Well, then you have guys like Evan Ingram that hit early, but then they don't hit again multiple times, and then they suck too. So, I mean, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Well, Evan Ingram sucks because he hit once and then has continued to suck every year since then. But I get your point.
But look at the teams he's been on.
I know.
You know, you gotta give tight ends time. That's all I'm gonna say. James is just bragging. He got a 24 second for Hunter Henry and a 1 QB non-tight end premium. You unclogged a drain and got a pick. Yeah. Great job.
Don't come here just to brag. You better hit the like button for that.
He posted that on the Dynasty Pandemic app too.
Andrew, 12 teams. Standard. I assume standard meaning not PPR. I don't know. I don't think most people play those anymore. Devontae Williams and a third for Jalen Waddle and a 23 first. I think if this is just PPR and there's nothing weird about it, I'm taking the package all day.
I mean, unless it's touchdown only, I want the Jalen Waddle side.
Standard, you never know. Touchdown. That's basically touchdown to yards.
Here, Scott, you're doing a fantastic job. But let me take over driving. People want to hear you. So 12 teams, Superflex, start 9, PPR, competing. RBs are Chubb, Zeke, Mostert, and Ingram. Do I spend 2 seconds on a Damian Harris or Ramondre Stevenson? Try getting Pollard, Hines, Chase Edmonds, Lenny, CEH, but no dice getting those types. So should he spend a couple seconds on like Damian Harris, Ramondre?
So there's one of 2 things you could do. You could just wait till in season when the guys that own Hines, Edmonds, Lenny, CEH are looking to sell them for a second because their teams are crap sticks, and they know that they're dying assets. Or you could go ahead and spend the seconds now. I don't know how much you have in your arsenal. I'm fine with spending a second or 2 on Ramondre Stevenson because they also he'll have value next year because I don't know that actually, but I think he'll have value in that when Damian Harris moves on and it's the Ramondre Stevenson and Pierre Strong show in New England.
Yeah, I think it's tough because it's a start 9. So, I mean, I like all those running backs, but I really want to spend 2 seconds on a guy I'm still not sure is in my lineup in start 9 versus can I get 2 of, can I get Nyheim Hines for 1 second when I really think the startability impact of both of those that you're buying is almost the same between Stevenson and Hines. So I get it. If you're paying 2 seconds for Stevenson though, it's a big swing that he's going to jump into starter range in a start 9. If he doesn't, you're basically just stuck with another, backup guy you're not sure when to play. So it's a risk reward.
I think another thing too, real quick on that is like, we might not know who we want to buy yet. You're a competing team, but people pop up. You never know if you're going to be buying like a Donta Foreman kind of guy. So just keep that in mind too. Okay, let me get rid of that. 10 team, start 9, 1 QB, half PPR, Dynasty League on a contending team. Traded Lance Bateman.
We did this one.
Yeah, I should have recognized that avatar. Great picture there, John Fisher. Okay, Dad, he had to put the kids down. But how about Superflex? 12 team PPR, give Sutton and Ridley, get a 24 first and Brandon Cooks. So give Sutton and Ridley, get the 24 first and Brandon Cooks.
Yes, do this trade immediately.
Brandon Cooks could put up as many points as Sutton this year. Yeah. Like not even like being hot takey. You know what I mean?
No, this is the classic. The person clearly sees Sutton superior to Cooks, and they're gonna pay the difference between of 24 first and Ridley. So take it. This could burn you a year from now if people are trading 24 first for Calvin Ridley. Then you're going, well, I gave up maybe the more productive player in Sutton and Cooks. But right now, I take this. Give me just the two. Ridley's a dead asset this year, most likely.
Yeah, I just traded Sutton in a relatively big trade the other day, or I thought it was going to be. Traded a 23 second, we'll call it mid, and Sutton, and got what could end up being like a top 3 2023 first.
Well, I would like that if it's top 3 23 first.
What so we talk about like manic and wild card people and all. This guy is one of them. He's one of the types like I gotta get that guy's first.
He has to go get his guys.
Yeah, and just there's like some hydroponics involved and all sorts of things. I'm sure nothing wrong with that. Oh, and that's gonna segue me in perfectly to the next guy here. So we got West Coast Chiefer with the question. 12-team Superflex PPR start 9. Give Pittman, get Ayuk, and a 23 first. Thanks, guys. Love your shows.
Yes. Smash this trade.
That's a dream trade, right?
Yeah.
I always think about that from the Debo show, where it's like Mooney in a 23 first. You're like, that's the dream trade. Go ahead.
I mean, I can see in these shallower leagues, if it's a start 9, I can see why people would propose this trade. Again, this is just I am clearly sure Pittman is way better than Ayuk, and I'm willing to pay my 23 first just to speculate between two players at the same position. In theory, that's not a great way to use your first. Period. Because you can buy something else with that first. You could take 2 shots. So yeah, take it and run, West Coast Chiefer, and smash. Good luck.
You don't have anything to say, right, Shane?
No, I mean it's
pretty easy one there. Yeah. Okay, so let's go to Jeffrey Jacobs here. 12-team, 1 QB, 2 PPR, no premium. Start 8. All TDs were at 10. Are you making shit up, Jeff? I feel like this can't be something.
Well, look,
it's like best ball, right? No,
I'll tell you what. If true, it doesn't matter anyway. You've got the better receiver out of the deal and the better running back. Like it's very rare when you pull off the 2-for-2 trade where you get the better of both sides. And if, for what it's worth, if touchdowns are worth 10 points, Kareem Hunt's going to score many more touchdowns than CEH. So I like it even better.
Yeah, I mean, I think Higgins and Sutton are probably pretty similar, except for Higgins is 5 years younger. So yeah, give me that. That's a good trade. It's an interesting league. Let's start up our next listener league. We'll make it 10-point touchdowns and 2 PPR for everything.
I just laugh every time I see Jeffrey Jacobs because his Twitter avatar cracks me up. So I immediately look at it in a comical fashion. Okay, last one, right? Jake. 12-team, 1 QB, start 9, half PPR. Give T-Law, Brian Robinson, and a 23 first. We'll call it late. Get Rashad Bateman, Fields, and a 24 first.
I mean, you're giving up a 23 first for Bateman, in essence, and a 24 first. I mean, it's weird. I don't like weird. I'm okay with it, to be quite honest with you. And Fields over T-Law at this point, I'm okay with it. I'm not enamored with it, though.
I actually think I do it. Especially if it's a late first in 1 QB and I can get Bateman and a 24 first, even if you say Fields and T-Law and Brian Robinson cancel each other out, I don't think that's unreasonable to say. You're basically giving up what you think is a late first and a 1 QB for Bateman and a reroll, which could be a higher first in 24. Even if it's a late first, you're still getting, I think, a second asset that you can move. So I would take the get side. That's a savvy trade if you can pull that off.
It was weird for Shane, but
it was weird. It was weird.
Savvy for Scott.
Hey, we still got some eyes in here. Hit a super chat. We'll hit some of your questions.
Yeah, we got 10 minutes. What's on your mind, Shane?
10 minutes.
What's on your mind?
So, Manscaped. If you've never
Here
used
we go.
So I'm gonna say, look, I had a meeting. I met up with someone yesterday, and though I wasn't particularly enamored with her. I was enamored with the fact that that I used the lawnmower 4.0, so that if I had been enamored with her, then I knew it was all systems go. So it's good knowing that, right? It's good. It's good just knowing that in the back of my mind, that wasn't a fear. You have lots of fears when you're going to meet someone for the first time. Like, I've never been to this place. Is it an actual, person that looks like their picture, or are they going to murder me and wear my skin? I mean, these are normal things. But one thing I didn't have to worry about because of Manscaped, Lawnmower 4.0, was my boss situation. My boss situation was nice and set up.
Yep. Shane, did you use the crop preserver before you left the house?
I did use the crop preserver because, well, one, you should always do that anyway.
Yeah.
But also I knew we were going to be outside because that's my only, that's the only thing I aim for when I'm going on a date is I want to be near water and or outside. That's it.
Did you use the crop reviver? Did you forget the crop reviver?
I did
that comes
in
the performance package.
Okay. Yes. All that comes in the performance package 4.0. It's well worth it. Get it. Use whatever our promo codes. Trades in 5. Like I said, many things you got to be worried about, and your balls shouldn't be one of them.
Yeah. So get 20% off and free shipping with the code TradesIn5 at manscaped.com. That's 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped. Okay, let's keep going here. Nice job, Shane. That one I'm
just gonna put up another question. What is Dalvin Cook's trade value? 12 team PPR Superflex, trying to rebuild and get younger and get draft capital and don't know what's asking too much or too little. Well, Emerson, let me just give you a word of advice, right? There's no such thing as asking for too much. You don't want to send out the most likely to be accepted offer first, right? That's not your goal. This isn't a race. You do want to get an offer accepted, but what I'm trying to say Cooks for is can I trade him for his brother in a 23 first? Yeah. That's what I'm looking to do. A younger running back with ceiling, and more importantly, the 23 first.
I'd take probably a 23 first, and you give me Isiah Pacheco. Is that enough, Shane?
Yeah.
A 23 first and just a filler running back. Would you take that, Clay, if it's in your inbox and you're motivated to move Cook?
Bye. Yep.
Agree.
I would do his brother in a 24 first.
Yeah. I like that too. I don't think you're not getting James in a 23 first. I don't think. Especially if it's Shane, because Shane's talked up James Cook as he was worth a first this year. So,
but you put that out there, right? So this is what we're doing too. We're setting expectations. So part of what we do when we send offers is we're setting expectations. It's kind of like pitching in baseball, right? When they tell you want to move a batter's eye level, the reason you want to do that is because you throw them off center. You keep them so that when you throw that breaking ball looks really good to them because you just throw a fastball up here at their eyes. Now you're throwing a breaking ball that's going to dip below their knees. They're going to swing at it, still not hit it because you're changing their eye level. The comparable point to that is, well, will you accept the 24 first in James Cook? Yes, you will, but you want to try for the 23 first. So it feels like the other partner that you're trading with, they feel like they got to win out of this situation. Like, well, I gave up a first, but it was a 24 first. And you're like, no. Yeah, you did great. You did really great.
Did great.
When Shane makes a trade with you and then he tells you did great.
You did great. Yeah.
We had one more from Corey. Let me throw this one up there.
Yeah.
Corey, I think we need to know a little more about the format here. How many starters? What's the format? Because obviously this is like a 10-team start 9, 1 QB. Like I'm probably keeping Jonathan Taylor. But if it's 12-team start 11 and half PPR, I'm doing the other way. I mean, this is a smash deal. If it's
let's say it's 12. Let's say it's 12-team half PPR start 9.
I'm taking if it's Superflex 12-team, I'm taking the 2 firsts and AJ Dillon, and the 2 seconds are just throw-ins. Let me ask you guys: are you really getting this cash out on JT in a real league?
No,
I don't think so. I think he's not going for this type. He probably should be, but he's not going for this type of deal. So I'd take the package, Corey. I think we're clear.
Yeah, I think we should probably call it. Sadly, hey, we appreciate everyone who's still in here. We got 115 eyeballs. Yeah, man, it's go time. The season is here. I'm pumped. We're gonna be. Yeah, go ahead, Scott.
Next live stream, we're gonna have actual fantasy football statistics to talk about.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
Whew, I'm ready for
Yeah.
it. It's been a long off season, guys, but it's been fun. It's been fun doing the live streams every Saturday night. It's been fun getting to where we've gotten with the channel. Shout out to you, Clay. You've been the kind of the master behind the scenes. Just Shane and I are the puppets. You're guiding us and telling us where to go.
Right.
I don't mean that really, but you've definitely taken this and run with it. So we appreciate you.
Hey, likewise. We're a good team. And you are great viewers. So we'll see you next time. Don't be shy. We'll see you in the comments. And take it easy. Have a good night.
Good night,
Bye,
everybody.
Shane.